No, we'll just go live and then we'll kick in properly. This needs something stronger in it. Can't just have beer. Mike will be here in a minute. Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing?
Absolutely fantastic. We're back at work tomorrow. The weekend's over. I'm doing this, and we got beat 5-0 yesterday. I could not be happier.
Henry, what are you doing?
Oh, we started.
Yeah.
Oh, where's the intro music? Or have I missed
We'll
it?
do that in a minute. Yeah, so this is the thing. You don't even listen. We'll do that in a second. We like to do the cold open, and then it's like a Scrubs episode from the 90s.
Oh,
we'll come in.
Every time I come on, you're more and more professional, man.
Is it? Well, good. Bruce says this is the highest quality that we do, and then we go live, and everything goes. That's mostly because we're slagging people off in the background that can't hear it.
You're trying to catch us out one day. So someone will say something when they think they're off air, and they're actually on air, and that's them cancelled.
Did I share that image that I nearly tweeted? I'd rather be a happy clapper than a twat. But I don't think I put twat.
I was going to say you showed a slightly different version to me.
I thought I'll just drop that in but I couldn't be bothered with the admin of it afterwards. Mike will be here in a minute. His internet is shit for everybody. Hello, everyone. Type in the comments. We want to see that you're all okay. I'll tell you something, though. We're talking about depressed fans. Our Crawley fan, our favourite, is don't worry, he's still here and he's still happy, and he's he's going to join us next week, which could be very.
You mean he wasn't? You mean he just wasn't? He wasn't a bot. He wasn't an FT. He's an actual guy. He actually exists.
Well, it's either that or the AI has got very good. What's the latest breaking news in farming, Henry?
Not a lot going on at the minute, Alex. It's more. I thought I was doing well because I completely avoided everything about the town game yesterday, and then I watched the Chargers.
They mentioned it.
historically collapse like never before. So, yeah.
Right. Hello, folks. Right, here we go. Grimsby Town failed today. GY Town failed today. Liking the effort of the printed out logo and on air sign, Alex. We got a printed out logo. We got that as well. I got given on for Christmas. Where's the card? There. That's quite nice.
Oh, that's nice.
I got to find a place to hang it. It's my little understatement. Andrew, hello. How is everybody? Say hello, everybody. YouTube says hello to Twitter. Twitter says hello to Facebook. We'll all get through this together. Yeah, we'll be fine by the end of it. All right. Mike's not coming back yet. Okay. Go, Jingles!
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Drew! They've done it again, this team! What a magnificent piece of football! Really, really good goal! You can't let this one go down. Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it. If we knew what going back to the Football League would mean, would we have been so excited? I am joined by Sam, who made the trip. What time did you get back, Sam?
Just past 8 o'clock last night, I managed to roll back into my flat.
Lovely stuff. Mike is here. Was lucky enough to not get there, and instead stayed well away. How are you?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, brilliant. Joined as the NFL season is coming to an end, and he'll come back to his second love. Henry is back, looking like an IRA terrorist being interviewed in the 90s with that lighting.
Oh, we're straight into it, are we?
Can't afford put a big light on Alex with current energy prices.
That's fair enough. And may I also say, now I have an Irish passport, the IRA are not terrorists. I apologise to my fellow countrymen. Please don't take my passport away from me. I could live and work in 27 countries. 26. But there we go. Talking of depressing ends, the Mariners succumb to Charlie Austin and the other Premier League bloke and another load of people that can't say they're ours. And the referee got knocked out, which was worth the 25 quid admission fee alone. Sam, you were there. What were your overriding opinions of it? And how are you feeling? Help.
Well, it's fair to say the best part of the day was the journey there when I ended up on the train by accident with the Swindon chairman, not knowing who he was, and then getting a free taxi ride off him to the ground, which was by miles the highlight of my day. Overall, in terms of the game, I mean, again, I'm going to kind of go against the general consensus here. For the first half, or certainly prior to the red card, I should say, we were okay with the ball. Okay, I'm not going to go. We were brilliant. We're okay with the ball, but we were ropey off it. After the red card, it was a spanking. We had we were destroyed. It could have been 10-0, and I don't think that would have been an unfair reflection of the game. In the second half, I don't think we had a kick. So I don't.
Yeah, no, that's true.
I don't want to throw. When we're apportioning blame for this, Danny Amos has to take his fair share of responsibility for what happened yesterday, because it was a non-situation. It looked like he was favourite for the ball all the time. It's almost like he'd lost his concentration, and then all of a sudden the guy's there, and he's brought him down. It's a red card completely. After that, it was only a case of avoiding the objective from there on was avoiding an embarrassment, which we failed. Mishi had a disaster in the second half, a lot of goals coming down his side. I don't think I've seen Holohan play as poorly for Town. I mean, we can talk about McAtee as well if you like. I'm beginning to think he's miles off the level that he was in the promotion season, the league below. I know that might be a bit kind of iffy to say that because a lot of people won't want to hear it, but overall, a bad day at the office. And but we have now got some more encouraging fixtures on paper, at least coming up. Apart from a couple of notable exceptions, we have done pretty well against the sides near the foot of the table so far this season. But they seem to be some of the sides seem to be throwing lots and lots of money at it, and I don't think they'll be quite as easy games on paper as they appear at first sight. I mean, fair play mainly to the 576 of us or whatever it was that went yesterday, despite all the chaos and 25 quid a ticket, which I did mention to the Swindon chairman about how expensive it was.
He went, yeah, it is. Thanks very much. Mike and Henry have no dog in this fight. They were lucky enough not to watch it. So they will be basically, I think, the referees. So by the sounds of it, Sam has got pretty much the same thought process I have. But the only problem I have nowadays with the Hurst in, Hurst out, sack the board, sack the food, whatever, is that when I get pissed off at the football and the result and the performance we put in, I can't go full tilt because I sound like them who are ready to throw the whole thing under the bus and welcome back John Fenty on a, on an exalted carpet because you just go, yeah, well, progress is progress.
I think it isn't unreasonable to be extremely pissed off having gone and vent your frustrations, but also not throw your toys out the pram about the bigger picture. Like I think those two things can be separate. I think you can raise your frustrations of the performance and be pissed off whilst also not saying blow it all up.
Well, I'm definitely in that camp because I was really disappointed in the performance yesterday. I agree with Sam. I thought we looked all right for the first 10 minutes, but I mean, that doesn't cover up the next 80. I thought we were pretty good in transition. We were pretty good at I thought we might end up having a couple of one-on-one situations because they were pushing up so far and we were quite aggressive on the press that I thought we might actually sneak it a couple of times. Sam, did you have your hand up because you wanted to come back on something? And then I can...
Yeah, I did. we were good for the first 10 minutes with the ball. They were still siding us open. They hit the insides of the post even before they'd scored. So we're okay going forward. But from the minute go defensively, they looked like they could get at us.
And then after the goal came, I think Amos was getting turned in and inside and out from their number 2 and number 26. I'll tell you something, their number 2, in comparison to Afete, it's chalk and cheese. I've never seen Afete play or be that aggressive on the ball in terms of confidence. He just doesn't have that ability to go past a player, or he doesn't think he has that ability, and as such, doesn't. And that's the level of right back we need, because we don't have that at the moment. The only thing that I'd say that Sam was probably unfair on is Amos. It was a last-minute challenge. I think if he'd have looked back on it, he wouldn't have done. But he's also a left-back in the middle of the park, which suggests that the 2 centre-backs have eviscerated and disappeared, and they had. I thought McAtee was really poor. I thought, what were you going to say, Sam? You're going to interrupt. What are you going to say?
Well, it's a non-situation. He's favourite for the ball, and it's like he's asleep, and all of a sudden the guy's favourite for it. So he's lost his concentration, and in a result, he's created the problem for himself. That's my issue with it, rather than anything else. I mean, I don't think we'd have won anyway. In the same way, I don't think we'd have won anyway if McAtee scores that chance just before half time. But it was completely self-inflicted from Amos. Hence, I'm kind of sort of getting stuck into him, which I normally stay clear of that on specific players. In fact, I tend to defend most players specifically, but he needs to take his fair share of blame for that yesterday. I think,
well, I don't know. And then off the back of that, I think there's a few players that need a bit of a telling off. I thought, I agree with Sam, McAtee is nowhere near the level we had last season. And if I'm Luton and I'm watching these performances, I'm sucking my teeth going, oh, they've had us over a barrel here. I mean, I know we sent them Peppel, but in return, we've bought this guy. And McAtee as well was guilty of something I've never seen him do yesterday, which was there was a loose ball coming towards the away fans in the second half. And instead of chasing it down, he threw his hands up and had a bit of a diva fit. It was overridden by the fact that afterwards it was brought back for a foul on whoever it was. I think it was Green. But I've never seen him do that. And I got slightly pissed off at him doing that. Holohan was an absolute disaster yesterday. He had 2 opportunities to take shots, didn't. Had another chance to clear his lines in the second half and just didn't. His passing was poor. He was run up. They pulled him to shreds, and it's not the first time that's happened this season. I thought Green was okay. Sam said on the podcast on the WhatsApp group he didn't think so, but I mean, I'm saying okay. I'm saying like a 5 or 6 out of 10. I'm not saying 8 out of 10. I thought he was all right, but that midfield is just sticky toffee pudding. It's just stodgy and lifeless, and it doesn't move very quick, and it's it does a job, but there's no creativity. And my God, firstly, I can't believe Holohan stayed on the pitch the whole 90 minutes. I can't believe, and this is a conversation that everyone is having on Twitter. I don't know what Alex Hunt has done wrong, but there are questions either on A, his performance, B, the scouting on him that I would hoped would have continued after he'd had his loan chance here, and then we actually paid some money for him, and after that we've got him for 3 years. So what are you going to do with him? He didn't change the game when he came on, but he hasn't played that much. And at the same time, I think Swindon, if they had Alex Hunt, he'd have been starting 11 yesterday for them alongside the baldy bearded Premier League one. I just don't get it. And the last point I want to make is when we went down to 10 men, I understood entirely 2 banks of 4, guy up front. New guy, by the way, was fine. He was great. Had a couple of moments with McAtee where you could see it could work, but he was an 18-year-old who was playing up front on his own, and it wasn't ever going to work. We had 2 banks of 4, him up front, and I could understand the idea of keep it tight. You never know what's going to happen at 1-0 down. The second they scored their second, I needed to see Hurst be more. And it's not, you say, shut up, Alex. I needed him to be a bit more creative. I needed him to push another guy up. I needed him to put 3 at the back, because at one point, Swindon were playing 4-2-4 and just, had 4 guys up front pressuring our 4. and it just didn't work, and we got absolutely pulverized. And again, Hurst made no changes on it, and we got absolutely spanked. It was fucking appalling. I don't know if I've gone too far off that, but there we go. I'll shut up.
Go on, Mike.
Yeah, I mean, the Hunt thing's interesting. I'll come back to that in a minute. I think you've been pretty fair there, Alex. I mean, the one word I got watching yesterday was sort of panic. Every time we had the ball, whether it was in the middle of the park or we was defending something, we just seemed to be just panicking. Even Smith nearly slotting one in the top corner with a great save from Max, by the way. So we couldn't string anything together. We looked like a team of strangers that hadn't played. And we definitely looked like we missed Waterfall organising and just a bit of experience in the team when things are going wrong. I think the Amos thing typifies that. I think he has the chance, if he's confident, to put his foot through it or deal with it straight away. He's stopped. He's not done that. And then he's left in the situation where he's got no option to do than what he did. I don't think he's done much wrong, but if he's on his game, fully confident, I think he deals with that straight away. I also can't understand why we were so narrow in defence yesterday. The amount of crosses they were getting into the box is just criminal, and we're just not working hard enough to stop.
I didn't think we were that narrow. I just thought we couldn't do anything with them.
Every time they switched play, our fullback was tucked in and he didn't get out quick enough. So if we've gone narrow to defend the other side of the pitch, fair enough. But we've not got out quick enough to stop those crosses coming in from their right-hand side predominantly. With Hunt, though, and I think I've said this before, and it sort of links into the McAtee point, I'm starting to wonder whether McAtee is a luxury we can't afford at the moment. When we've been good this season, it's been with a 3 in midfield. I think everybody can see that. That's where we strung the results together. We had a 3-man midfield. I think with Hunt, Hurst doesn't have the confidence to play him as one of the two in there. And I think you saw that a little bit in a few games he's played where he's given the ball away cheaply and we've been exposed in transition. And I think you saw that I think it was their 4th goal, where he couldn't stop an attack out on their right-hand side flank. They've got round him, past him, into the box, and they've scored. So I'm wondering whether, if we're playing this way, do we need to go to a 3 in the middle, put Hunt in there, but have the 2 players that can act more defensively to give us a bit more of that solidity? I'm just thinking if we're playing McAtee, we have to play 2 in midfield, and we just look nowhere near the team we have been. So I'm wondering is it time to take McAtee out of the team a little bit and put those 3 in midfield? Might get pelters for it, but is he a luxury we can afford at the minute?
I think I do kind of see what you're saying, Mike. I think he's not the player he was last season, and I think there might be 2 reasons for that. I think we really, really missed Taylor, and I think McAtee was at his best playing just behind Taylor, who did a lot of the dirty work, won a lot of balls, and created the opportunities or got the ball to McAtee in a bit of space. I do wonder if the transfer having gone through means that, and also having quite a serious operation not long ago, means that he might be thinking slightly longer term and making some business decisions. I don't know, in terms of your tracking down and all that. But I think in terms of his performances, I think a lot of it is to do with formation and just the lack of an out-and-out striker who reliably did that dirty work up front. And yeah, Taylor didn't score a lot of goals, but I think his absence is showing his value, certainly last season. And then it becomes a question of, right, well, Taylor's probably not coming back, might not come back this season. So
I don't think we see Taylor back in the town shirt.
No, so then it becomes a question of, okay, what do we do about it? And unless you have that striker that you can play out and out in the centre, and McAtee is free to play wherever just behind him, then his role in the team becomes a lot more difficult, especially if you need to play 3 central midfielders, because you're struggling back there because of the inconsistencies. So I do kind of get what you're saying. And, if realistically our options are just going to be youngsters because that's the position we're in, and you're not going to have that reliable target up front, then, what is the most effective 11 going to be? Because to be
There's
honest, the last game I went to was on New Year's Day, and I just really don't see how McAtee is effective as the central striker in a 3 when we're playing the 5-2-3 or whatever it is.
We've got quite a few questions coming in, so we'll rattle through them. If any of you guys have got any points to make on them, just interrupt me and we'll go through it. Holly's trying to pull me up saying a left back should be tucked in. Maybe. I'll be honest, my head was in my phone making a funny tweet.
Not so much is the point I'm making, and he didn't get out quick enough.
Yeah, but I think he was left for it, and he made the wrong decision. Amos didn't seem to realise the attacker was there, most probably. Andrew Miles says McAtee wants to seem to score a great goal every time rather than just shoot. I think that was the same with Holohan yesterday as well. Simon Hodgson asks, how on earth did Harley Austin get their man of the match? Because their sponsors want to get a picture with him, mate. He wasn't half bad, though. He was, I mean, if I was a Swindon fan, I'd be absolutely buzzing right now because he was pretty slow, but when he had the ball close at hand, he just, ran us around, and he was pretty decent. And Luke Carson says, just play Orsi even if he's ultimately not good enough. I guess so, but you never know what we get in. Honestly, the new lad looked good, Luke. He wasn't too bad at all. And very much Richardson, sort of like, that first game he had with a couple of decent touches. He also chased down far more than McAtee did, which might say something. They made us look like a League Two conference side, said Jim. Players, Stephen McDade says players have let Hurst down, not Hurst changing it. Let's have an honest Hunt conversation at the end of the season. Stephen, we need to have that Hunt conversation now. I think we'll have it at the end of the season as well. But we've got a player there that was pretty decent who is not being used. As for Hurst not changing it, I think the players as well let him down, and I think they hold the vast majority of the responsibility for it. But I'm needing more from my manager when we're getting spanked 3 or 4-0, and it's just not working, and he's not making those changes. It was a pretty naive tactic where he got tactically masterminded by Gavin Gooden, for fuck's sake. So, let's have that conversation. Jesus. He won't. Let's have a look at them. John Lewis says Taylor is ineffective without McAtee and vice versa. Too many players not performing and getting picked, says Ricky. I think that's a problem with a team just out of form, full stop, Ricky. Where's you've got to find your line of where the players you trust to perform and when you don't. And even when we've played well recently, it's not been McAtee that's been the catalyst. No, I agree. I think it's been Holohan most of the time. Anything else you want to say on Swindon? We've got no one from Harrogate. Who would have fucking thought it? A team of 300 people of an average attendance couldn't preview it. So we'll make some shit up about Harrogate. Has anyone got anything to add on yesterday's abomination?
Just on the Hunt thing, I guess. I do share your frustrations, and I think just on Hurst, it has always been he's too slow to change things, and when you're out of form, I think that gets exposed a little bit. And just on Hunt, I don't think any midfielder this season has really sort of stamped their place in the team. Holohan's been really up and down. Bryn Morris, he was all right, got injured, can't get back in the team. Green's been all right. I guess he's been all right. But, there's no one there. It's like, okay, they're the first name on the team sheet for me. So then it becomes a question of why isn't Hunt getting even a look in off the bench? What is he doing wrong? And for me, initially I thought he's too lightweight, but we knew that before we signed him on a 3.5-year contract. So I don't understand that shouldn't be stopping him from getting in the team. So it is worrying, to be honest.
You don't think Hunt's just the new Maguire Drew, now Maguire Drew's gone? He's suddenly become the new player who's better than what we've got now he's not in the team. I'm playing devil's advocate a little bit there because, you got to feel for the lad. He's sitting there on the bench. We've paid allegedly £100,000 for him. We're getting spanked 5-0 at Swindon, and he gets on with 5 minutes to go. Now, you could say he's not the sort of player you actually. The argument I would use yesterday, specifically in isolation, is he's not the sort of player you want on the pitch when you're 1-0 down with 10 men, because he's not going to be able to get around the pitch as well as some of the others are. But I know I thought Green was poor. It was particularly the first half, the first bit of the second half. I thought all he did was give away cheap, unnecessary free kicks. And I find that really, really frustrating about his game. I realise he's there to do a certain job, which is to win tackles, win headers, but he's so limited otherwise. It is my view. I think Holohan's been off it for weeks, frankly. Apart from he was okay in sort of the last half hour against Burton last week, but he was awful against Salford.
What was the point about Hunt? Where we go back to Hunt. What were you going to say about him?
I've said what I said about Hunt. He's the new Jordan Maguire-Drew.
Is that it?
Suddenly
fine.
He's become so much better now he's out the team.
But Jordan Maguire-Drew is going to become the new Jordan Maguire-Drew now he's back, isn't it?
He's the new Alex Hunt, who was the new
Is
Jordan
he?
Maguire.
Okay, fine.
We've gone full circle.
Maguire-Drew, we do love slow wingers at this football club.
Oh, the difference yesterday. Then was it number 26, Sam, on their right with their number 2? He was immense.
I don't know if it was 26, but the right back and the two guys in midfield, Khan and Williams, I think it were. I mean, they were just on a different stratosphere to what we could produce.
And
the right back, right, they'll be at a higher level than this next season, whether Swindon go up or not. All three.
And I think you've got to take that into consideration as well. You've got 2 former Premier League players on the pitch there for Swindon. Charlie Austin is in there. They've just lost their manager that they didn't want, so they're all up for it a little bit. 11,000 there yesterday, they were up for it. But that's the level we've got to attain to. We were just nowhere near it, and it's a shame that we're not. They were good, and if I was a Swindon fan, I'd be over the moon with it. But my God, just that music, that goal music is shit. I've heard it far too many times now. And then I guess the best bit we haven't. What? Sorry, Mike.
I'm just going to make two real quick points. Firstly, I want to see Orsey more. I've been banging on about that for weeks. I don't see why we're not giving him some extended game time. Clifton needs to start playing in the centre midfield. And Hunt, let's not build him up to be more than he is. I think Hunt is a player that can develop into a very good player. He isn't the Messiah, though. So I think Sam is right. Sometimes when players are out the side, we seem to build them up to more than what they are. So we just have to be a little bit careful with that.
And I guess the last thing we need to talk about yesterday is the referee got knocked out, and it was fucking hilarious. It was absolutely
Green giving it the big.
Yeah, he's trying sub. He's on the floor. Sub. We need to change him up.
The guy was hospitalised.
Yeah, well, he should look where he's going.
He's all right now.
It wasn't us that did it. It was them that did it. It wasn't us. Swindon. I didn't like the other.
Our fault.
I didn't like the other referee.
Oh no, he's a little pill at once.
He was not. Yeah, it was a bit, Stephen. It was a bit lightweight. It really was. And I know there's protocols to go, but he went off on a stretcher and the ball hit him in the head. My God, come on, come off it, man. But it was very funny, and it was the only light entertainment that we had yesterday. And he's on the same anniversary of when the goalkeeper at the referee against Nottingham Forest got knocked out in 2001. I think Bruce put it up earlier. That was quite funny as well. That's it. I don't want to go back to Swindon again. Probably won't if they keep playing like that.
I hate Swindon.
I hate Swindon. Yeah, this is all revenge for the shithouse Cardwell dive that we did a few years ago.
It's another one on the list. Hate Swindon.
At least they've got a roof, unlike Bromley, I guess. Right. What do we want to talk about next? Transfer stuff, I guess. Have a quick chat about that and where we are. Maybe talk about some discourse with, people making these games. We're all a bit miserable, but some people go a bit OTT, and we'll do that. But before that, I'm going to see if I can do this because I don't think it will work. We're going to go to some breaking news. It doesn't work. Oh, it's totally took Mike out of it. There you go, Mike. You go over it. Apparently, Lincolnshire's favourite van of choice was spotted in Laceby earlier today, and that is all we can give you on that. But that's from John Podger, our live reporter on the AA46. I don't. Hang on, shut up. I don't think we'll do that again.
AM35, first for breaking news.
Hey, we were yesterday. We accidentally. Hang on, let's play the music. We accidentally we accidentally announced the new signing before the club because I accidentally got him in the photo of him having his giving some autographs out.
I think you've looking at the chat. I think you've got to explain what Berlingo Watch is.
Berlingo Watch. So Hannah, our roving reporter, said that Lincolnshire's favourite son, Lincolnshire's own Robbie Keane, had moved to an area of North Thoresby and had a Citroen Berlingo. So if you want to keep an eye out for Charles Vernon and whether or not he does show up at Blundell Park, please keep an eye out for Citroen Berlingo. We need all of every time you see a Citroen Berlingo, give us the area and drop it into Henry's Twitter account. He is nominated Citroen Berlingo watcher.
I'm on a break at the minute after the calamity of the Chargers, so they will be gratefully received and unread.
So anytime you see a Citroen Berlingo, whether it's got Charles Vernon in or not, we need to make sure we've got them all on our tracked map, and Henry will keep you up to date on it. And that is Berlingo Watch for Andrew Neal and Stephen McDade, who don't know what it is.
We're going to get complaints from Tesco as just town fans wandering around looking for a Citroen Berlingo in the car park now, aren't we?
So here we go. Ollie Hodson says, I genuinely... Hang on, Ollie. Hang on. We've got to do this properly.
Can you shuffle some paper?
Ollie Hodson generally saw Vernon in Asda at the Peter Councillor a couple of months ago. He's essentially signed. Thank you very much, Ollie. That is very much needed live on Berlingo Watch. Right, we're done with that. Hang on.
Do you ever think you've got too much time on your hands, Alex?
No. So, yeah. Henry Barber, every time you see a Citroen Berlingo, really appreciated. Thank you. Hang on. Oh, Ben, I'm not doing any more. I think the music has stopped, if I'm being entirely honest. I can't do any more Berlingo Watch. We'll do it later when we run out of content. Transfer window is open. Everybody's losing their minds. Gillingham signed 95,000 players because they're terrified they're going to go to the National League. Has anyone got any thoughts? Because I don't. I genuinely think the team. I think we've missed out on a few players because they don't want to live in Grimsby or they could play closer to home. Go on, Sam.
Mike and I have been having this debate with a few people on Twitter today about transfers, and basically, it's not simply a case of, oh, here's a contract. We can blow you all out the water. We've got this fantastic opportunity to come and play in this fantastic part of the country. There are so many other dynamics.
They're playing somewhere else.
Sorry?
I said that they're playing somewhere else.
Somewhere else. We could do what Barrow do. So Barrow train in Manchester, a bit like Dover used to train in South London, apparently.
Lille.
But we struggling to attract so many players because basically there's been, prior to rightly or wrongly, there was kind of there's stories of neglect and taking players for a ride under the previous regime. There's a great article written by Lloyd Griffiths that Mike pointed me to regarding, but in COD Almighty, about how we treated Hammond and a couple of others during the thing. And the problem is, old sins leave long shadows, and I'm afraid a great playoff campaign and a load of seasons.
Sam's going to learn that very soon.
Are going to change that overnight. I mean, as I was speaking to the guy who Jack, who asked me to give him a shout out on the podcast. There you go. Thank you for giving me a lift to the ground yesterday. These guys said they'd listen to the podcast, so I've got to big them up to make it worthwhile for my exploits. Taking the mick out of them yesterday. Said they have the problem of attracting players and teams blowing them out of the water with their 11,000 gates. So with ours having 6,000, we're really going to struggle to attract players. I mean, it seems tighter than ever than rumour mill this year. I've never heard so few whispers. I don't know if any of you guys have done.
No comment.
I
Henry, what are you going to say?
I think that's a fair point about the previous behaviour having an effect. I guess I'm viewing it from a slightly different sort of position in that I think, people are desperate for us to sign players, and I get it. But the thing is, we're not in a position where we're realistically, we're not chasing promotion. I think we should be safe. We're 11 points clear. So it's not like we need someone in for tomorrow's game in the sense that, it's a promotion 6-pointer. So when you take that out of context and you view it as, okay, we finished 6th in the National League last season. We were the 6th best team in the National League. We won a ridiculous campaign in the playoffs. And realistically, I think at best we were a lower mid-table League 2 team. And so, it's not going to be fixed overnight. It is going to take a few years. And when you put it in the context of a few years in terms of making us competitive at the top of League 2, which is realistically what it's going to be, then saying no to certain players or not getting them in for the sake of it, or waiting an extra 2 weeks to sign someone that you do want that might have an effect for, say, 2 seasons down the line is probably worth doing.
And look, we could get players in tomorrow. If you want players, we can give you players. We had that under Holloway. You can get your Torre Cisse, you can get your Ira Jackson Jr., you can get your Montel Gibson. You want players, he can get you players. They're all fucking shit, but you can have as many players as you like. It is undoubtedly the club have probably turned down players from agents this year, this window. It'll be no doubt that they'll have gone in for players they wanted and they've gone somewhere else, because even though we can probably offer them more wages or more money, they can go, well, I can play a little bit closer to home, and given the price of petrol nowadays, I'll save that coming to you and not go and going to them instead of coming to you anyway, and I get more time with my family or out with my mates, whatever. So there are times when that's going to be a problem. There are going to be times when it works for us. We did the preview with Wimbledon, and the first thing the Wimbledon fans asked of us was like, well, we always think that you guys will get the choice of players because they don't then have to pay 1,500 quid for a 1-bedroom flat in Wimbledon. They can buy a 6-bedroom house in Scaffer instead. So, horses for courses. Everybody's got their own problems. Everyone's got pros and cons. And sometimes it just won't be for us. And there will be a point if that continues, that you do look at it and go, right, Paul, is your list of contacts going to be helpful? Because we've got this new guy, and you'll be looking at the new staff as well, because we've got a new scout guy coming in to try and find these players as well. So lots of blame to go around, lots of hard work being done. And if there's any manager in our history that can pull a rabbit out of a hat, it's the guy with the Yorkshire accent who got slightly annoyed at John Tonda on Saturday.
Rightly so.
I think you're right, Alex. I mean, we all agree, and it's interesting the debate that you see online and elsewhere. I think we all agree we need improvements in this window. I don't think anybody is saying we don't. I do find it slightly strange, though, how we can judge a window only halfway into it. I think the time to judge a window is when it's closed and you can see what you've got and what you've brought in. Sam's quite right. There is an element of the past obviously does affect us, and also our location does affect us, but that doesn't mean that that's an excuse that we can't overcome. There's ways to do that, especially looking at some of the signings we've made recently. We're giving 2 and 3 year deals out. Sometimes that can that can change a player's mind because they've got an extra year worth of security. So I don't think we can use it as too much of an excuse. We just have to realise it is a fact. We can ignore it, or we can entertain it and try and get round it. So yeah, I think the time to judge a window is when the window is closed. I mean, you don't know what's going to happen over the next 2 weeks. I think Paul Hurst has said over the last couple of weeks when that new head of recruitment came in that maybe he is a bit picky and he needs to stop that. He's admitted that himself. So let's give him 2 weeks, see what happens. You never know where we're going to be in 2 weeks. But I don't think anybody's saying this squad is good enough for the rest of the season. We need to add to that.
You've silenced everybody. Did you want to do more Berlingo watch? Right, so coming up, we've got games against Harrogate. We've got games against Crawley. We have other games. I'm not on that list yet. But ultimately, the teams we've got to face are teams we would quite like to face, is it not? We've got, let's have a quick look. Soccer base has been slow. We have got coming up Harrogate at home, Crawley away, Newport has been postponed, Crewe away, which we never win, Colchester at home, Gillingham away, Northampton away, and then we've got a couple of toughies as well with Leighton Orient as well. We've got a fair few, decent fixtures coming up, haven't we?
Yeah, and I think we'll be inconsistent. We'll pick up a few wins and we'll probably lose a few because that's kind of where the team's at.
Yeah.
And I get the frustration on yesterday's an aberration, but I think for anyone to expect us to steamroll 6 teams in a row is just not on planet Earth, really. We're a lower mid-table side, and we will, even if we bring in 3 or 4 players, we might pick up a few more results, but we're not going to suddenly be playoff contenders. So it's going to be inconsistent. But as long as there's progression between now and the end of the season, then I'll take that as a positive.
Is there?
I wouldn't necessarily be that negative, actually, Henry. I think we're a little bit sort of like, I've seen a lot of games this season, either there or on iFollow, and we've been, apart from yesterday and a bit donny at home, we haven't been outclassed or outplayed by anybody. So I kind of think that 2 or 3 really good signings in some key areas of the pitch will really sort of catapult up the league. The problem, as we've alluded to, is given our league position and the relative wages and so on we'll be able to offer, that's going to be really difficult to do. But we didn't need an almighty run, obviously, to make the playoffs, and we won't do. But in terms of the team and making the playoffs, and given the bulk of that will be here next season, it's not an unrealistic expectation going forward, if you get what I mean. So I'm not disagreeing with you per se, just there's a more optimistic take on it, if you like.
Given Sam's comments, a question that I was just going to ask was, is anything to be read into the fact that Paul Hurst has beaten his record for largest defeats in the league for Town in the last 2 months? 4-1 against Salford and then 5-0 against Swindon. Last year's bad run, we saw the team, we're close in the vast majority of the games that we lost or failed to pick up 3 points in. Is there any difference in this little blip at the moment, given the margin of the defeats?
I mean, I don't think so, because we've just come off the back of 2 1-0 wins at home against good sides. So I don't think so. I think it's a demonstration of we're in a different league where there is players with different quality. And if you're not on your game, you are going to get a bit of a spanking. In the National League, if you're not on your game, you can keep those games close because of the quality of it. And one thing that's sort of related and goes back to the previous point is we need to knock on the head now that Paul Hurst's recruitment has been poor. Since he came in, he's had a couple of transfer windows. He's tried to keep a side in League Two and change the entire squad. It didn't work. He's changed the squad again for the National League and made a load of signings, which has worked and got us out of the National League. He's then tried to put a squad together to make us competitive in League Two, which we are. So whilst it's not back-to-back promotions, he's doing all right in getting the core of a squad that is competitive. It's going to get spanked every so often, but I think generally we're all right. We just need those additions to take us on a bit.
Yeah, I agree.
Alex's point, though, I mean, sorry.
So I basically agree with all of that. I think when you look at the wider, when you stop looking so sort of close and you think about sort of when he first joined, are we a better team now? Do we have better players? The answer is undoubtedly yes. And I think it becomes a bit more of a narrow debate when you think, are we a better team than last season? Don't know, jury's out, probably similar, maybe a fractional improvement. But I think when you look at the blip last season when we had a bad run, and I think it is interesting that we have a bad run in the middle of the season, and that's something that maybe there's something to it, but I don't know what it is. But you take Aldershot away as an example. Last November, in that conference season, we got pumped in that game, and it was 3-0 or something, and. Yeah, I think you're going up against high quality teams. So when you're playing that poorly, they're just going to punish you.
Hey,
there we go.
What you're saying, we were saying yesterday about how it's very rare under Hurst that you get in for a right spanking. I mean, yesterday was completely different to Salford in the sense against Salford, everything just went in. I mean, it's hit his standing leg and gone in. It was one of those days, really, if you look at it dispassionately. But yesterday, we were just completely battered from sort of 20 minutes onwards. And I can't really remember that happening under Hurst before. Even those defeats at Halifax weren't like that. And I don't know if any guys can remember those games, but although in the first stint, it was almost unique yesterday in terms of how much of a gulfing class there was between the two sides. But I don't think there's anything to read into it fundamentally. If we get beaten if we get beaten consistently like that towards the end of the season, then maybe questions need to start asking. But the idea that questions need to be asked now it is ridiculous, Frank.
I think that's a good point Henry makes about the sort of comparison between last season and this season. I think, quite honestly, I think we are better than last season. I think we're maybe not doing as well because we're in a different league. But I think if you compare every player that left and every player that came in, I think they're an improvement. Maybe Fox is probably the only one you would have a question mark over, but I think Glennon is better than Crooks. I think Green is better than all the other midfielders we let go. Khan is better than Sousa, and you do that all over the pitch. I just think we're in a different league, which is harder to do well in. So I think we're better, but we just don't look as good because of that.
Right, positive stuff. Okay, let's be, let's bring it up. Let's raise it to a crescendo, I guess. So, 6 points off our highest league position since 2006, with 3 games in hand on that team that's in that position, would suggest not too far off. I'm personally of an opinion that if we can achieve that, it not only says that we're going forward and is a massive monkey off my back personally, but I think it also shows to players who might not know enough of a story about the club, that sort of snapshot of it, going, actually, they're not a club that just yo-yo between League Two and the National League, which unfortunately for players in their early 20s and the like will see us as that sort of team. They'll actually this is a team that's moving forward and is progressing and getting steadily better under this regime. And as such, I can trust them to give me a 2-3 year contract, because that next year will not be in the National League. Or am I being silly?
No, I think you're bang on, mate. I think there's lots to be positive about if you look out of the isolation of the emotion of bad results. I think you look at what's going on off the pitch. If you're a player, you're looking at that and you're thinking, oh, look, these guys have come in and they're doing things right. I mean, I had a conversation on Twitter yesterday, somebody saying, do we need all these backroom staff? Well, we're not a championship club. Well, firstly, ain't your money, so it doesn't really matter. Secondly, I trust 2 businessmen that are successful to know what an organisation needs over us fans. And thirdly, what's wrong with getting the infrastructure ready for a team that should be in a higher level? You don't have to get to the high level and then put the infrastructure in place. If you make sure you get it, you can try and achieve that level. So I think as a player looking from the outside, you're still going to have the stories from before, but you're going to start to see, oh yeah, look at what they did to Sean Scannell. He had a cruciate ligament. They gave him a contract. They looked after him. You're going to start hearing those.
And okay, a hypothetical player lives in Sheffield and has 2 places to go. Same money. They can go to Harrogate or they can come to Grimsby. Relatively same different distance, but the connections by rail and by road are probably slightly better to get to Harrogate than they are to Grimsby. Mike might disagree, but say for example, there isn't much money difference in the contract offered, but Grimsby, on top of that, can offer you, first and foremost, you're not going to have to take your kit home and wash it. You've got a kit man that does it for you, which is stupid, but matters. They've also got opportunities there for training, which they've offered to other players. And you've got, as you say about Sean Scannell, you've got that little bit more reassurance that the club is going to stick by you than they would have done elsewhere. Those little 1%, and there's probably so many others that actually, I've got a decent coach there, and I've got Steve Crowsden there, or I've got whatever position it may be, Ben Davis, whatever, who's going to take care of me, look after me, and actually help me develop the skills so I can earn more money into the future. That stuff matters. Those marginal, if you're looking at the 1% marginal gains, that shit matters. And not to mention, when my family come, they're going to be sat somewhere in a half decent facility that's just been renovated or whatever it is, and they'll get some decent food and decent grub as well. They won't just, have to go on the one-eyed winking burger. So those marginal gains matter. I don't know. Am I making too many good points today?
Yeah, Alex, you're remarkably coherent. You used to be.
I fucking hate town some days, so they're really fucking depressing.
It's making me nervous. The coherent.
They were okay. Then they were shit. It was really shit. It was just awful. There was nothing to enjoy, and yeah, that goal music just kept ringing around my ears. And we're not right next to, I think, Sam, were we next to like the family stand? And you got like some 11-year-olds going, ah.
I make a point just kind of not looking that way when we've conceded, because I can't stand just looking at other people's joy. It basically, but we're happy. We're sorry, but we're sad.
Typical Tory. Don't look like looking at yours.
Don't like looking at the common people.
that picture that you painted, just like classic.
That's a record for how long it took to take the mick out of me.
I really tried, Sam. I really tried, mate. It just.
Henry's not done it yet. Henry, do you need to let anything out? How's the electricity bill there?
Yeah, fine. Fuck the Tories. There you go.
Yeah, good.
The electricity bill fine, thanks to the energy price guarantee brought into you by this Conservative government. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, they're not going to bring much else.
Won't get on to public sector pay.
No, we will not get on to.
It was Mike who brought it. It was Mike who brought it up. Don't blame me. I
brought it up earlier. Don't worry. That went over your head. That's fine. Let's have a look. I'm trying to think of what else we can talk about, because I don't think there's much. Now we've got no preview. We've got like 20 minutes done. So are we wrapping it up now, or do you want to end on some more Berlingo watches?
Why don't we play a game?
I don't have any games to hand at the moment, I don't think.
I like games.
Whatever happened to Ryan Bennett? He's gone somewhere else, Andrew. I think he's gone to Cambridge.
I was going to say, is it Cambridge?
Probably closer to where he lives.
He's got a deal till the end of the season, and he's going to sign for us next season when we've got promoted in the playoffs again, when we're back in League One.
Yeah,
you heard it here first.
Do we want to touch on the comment that everybody seems to be getting wound up about Hurst in his interview with the loans, and I would want more loans. Do you want to touch on that?
Oh, that's an interesting one.
I have a theory on that. I think he means he doesn't want more than 5. He currently has 4 with Kiernan, and I would bet he wants to bring in a reserve goalkeeper. So I think he means it makes it more difficult to get a loan with a view to a permanent. Things like Vernon might be a loan with a permanent in the summer. So I think that's what he means. I don't think he means he wants to bring 8 loan players in and pack the squad with loan players.
But otherwise, that's a complete U-turn, and I'd know one of those when I saw one, within a week. And that doesn't strike me as being very Hurst-esque or Stockwood-esque. They're very big about we've got this strategy, we're on target, we're headed to strategy, we're headed plant target and everything like that.
It's what competency looks like.
Yeah. If we go from
it sets me up and I can just tap them away.
It is too easy. It's my own fault, really.
I'm fishing, unlike the industry.
I'll probably be on the same page as you with Brexit, but what I want to say, it would be a huge.
Yeah, I'm well for it.
U-turn in like that to basically say we really want permanence and we'll get loans if we have to a week later all of a sudden saying, oh, I want more loans because I can't see any defence players. I think basically what he's saying is he's got so many already, he's got no wriggle room, and I do think there's something in Mike's theory.
Do you think? I don't know what
Sorry,
the status is with Kiernan. Is he definitely going back, or re-extending? Because I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to sign him permanently.
It doesn't look like he knows. Go on,
I spoke to Kiernan at Swindon Station.
Oh, we go. Kiernan watch. We got a jingle for that
before we set off. And he said to me,
Has that quietened down, Sam? I was giving you the music.
I can't. I didn't hear it properly. I don't know. Anyway.
What's going on? This is very Liz Truss. What is
it's
this?
malfunctioning in front of us, isn't it?
This is more what I'm used to.
What happened?
My earphone, like whatever you're pumping through the thing, it didn't work with the intro music either.
Right, you spoke to Kiernan.
I spoke to Kiernan.
Hang on. Let me put the music back on. Go on, Sam. You spoke to Kiernan. Keep going through it. Power through it.
I spoke to Kiernan yesterday at the station. I asked him, are you going to be staying or not? And he basically said to me, I want to stay. If it was completely up to me, I'd want to stay. But he said to me, I think I get the impression that I'm not first. I've got plenty of offers. He's got an offer from a League One club. So he's having to weigh up his options. And I'm not really sure. I didn't believe it either, Mike.
Who's offering in League One? I like the guy, but who's offering in League One? Sorry.
I don't know. Someone still got a league, but I mean, maybe it's Burton or Cambridge. He was played really well against Cambridge. That'd be a real sort of anecdote.
You got to wrap this up. The music's going to end in a minute.
But he said he wants to stay with us. We will know next week what he's doing. But he wants to stay. I think reading between the lines and with that and what Hurst said yesterday, I think Hursty thinks he can do better.
Yeah, that's what I get. But I also think what Hurst means is he doesn't want 5 loan players and then a championship player from Hull or something like that comes available, and you would take those on loan for the half a season all day long. So he doesn't want 5 players, and then he's going to have to start thinking about who does he leave out of a match day squad. He's going to have to bring in a reserve goalkeeper, and I'm pretty sure that will be a young lad on loan. He's got one right back. The other one is injured now for quite a while, so he might want to bring somebody in as cover. So then you're on 6.
Misha's injury record's not without fail, is it? And I mean, we forget that Max is on loan almost, don't we? Given that he was our player and now he isn't. Has that ever happened in the history of town before? We've sold a player and got them back on loan.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I don't think so. Probably Clive Mendonca at some point or something. I don't know. But no, I don't think so.
The Hurst comment that I found strange a few weeks ago is when he said, "Give us more subs. I want 9 subs." And I thought, you don't use 5 anyway. How could you want more subs?
He just wants to piss us off more.
But he could if he wanted to. That's the point.
Yeah, exactly. I've got all these. Alex Hunt is looking more hopeful. No. Put the training top back on, mate. Put the training top back on.
Bring Giles Coke on instead.
Yeah, exactly. Get your boots on, Ben Davies. You're coming on. Yeah. Oh yeah, I've got one thing to say though. He was really shit. His distribution. Someone described it beautifully as it was like a cartwheel. He just closed his eyes and he just, it went off. He made one decent save, didn't he, Sam? Made one good save. But after that, his distribution, even James McEwen is going, actually, mine's a bit better than that.
He was kicking into the wind, to be fair to him, Alex. Now I'm not usually I don't jump on the Croken bandwagon like some people. But I thought he did about as well as he could have done yesterday. I mean, it was kicking into. There was one that was kind of we basically kicked it along the floor, and my dad and I looked at each other like, whatever you.
Sam's headphones really don't like your
That's
back.
brilliant, isn't it? I love it because to everybody else it sounds fine, and it's brilliant.
I think
Can we?
it is difficult with goalkeepers because their form does go up and down in waves with confidence as well. And I think he started the season really quite well, and hopefully with time he'll re-find his form and his confidence. But in the meantime, you probably want someone to compete and fight for that sort of spot, really.
It's Ollie. Yeah, Ollie says Mariner Hodo made it to 1,000 YouTube subscribers now, thanks to the pod support, despite Sam's smear campaign. Absolutely, Ollie. Well done to the young lad. I mean, share the bit of the love. What are we on? I don't even know what we spring you. Wonderful videos, wonderful graphics, beautiful audio jingles, and I think we've how many subscribers have we got on the old YouTubes? Like 4. I don't know.
And that's us.
And that's us making sure the stream works. So, where's the love, Ollie? Where is this, reciprocal, follow the DN35 podcast online and watch our beautiful faces? Henry said he'll lift his top up if we get to 1,000 subscribers.
I'll pay people not to subscribe.
It's all right. That promise is about as solid as the Tory promise. So.
Mike said he will not lift his top up if we get to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the season. If not, he's going to do the entire season next year until 1,000, till we get to 1,000 subscribers, completely topless.
And nobody.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it bottomless, so it's all going to be hanging in the wind. So you make it to 1,000, or Josh says he will unscribe if we get another Supermax jingle. What you mean? You want me to make another one, or you don't want me to play it again? Because I don't know, Josh. I think people like the Supermax jingle. It's either that or we go back to Berlingo watch. Oh, John and Andrew said we've got 323. That's a fucking Harrogate away attendance.
Hey, it's gone up. It's 324 now. Somebody subscribed. Somebody.
I've just subscribed. I really want to see Henry naked. I've just subscribed.
So that's so nicely.
Yeah, exactly. Naked pod watch. Anybody got anything else to add? I hope we've cheered everybody up. No, we haven't cheered anybody up.
No, I'm bloody miserable.
I know it's not strictly time related, but I've been having this argument with people all day. Was that Manchester United goal yesterday offside or onside?
Oh, it's offside. Don't even start me. It's offside.
Hang on. I might have fucked this up.
I agree with you, Alex. Mike, sorry. So I'm getting you mixed. I'm getting the pair of you mixed up now. The pair of you chat so much shit.
I think we've missed up here. Because we didn't get I didn't get the Crawley guy on because they thought we'd play him on next Saturday, but he's not. We play him on Tuesday, don't we?
Yeah.
So we have next Sunday night. Then I guess.
Do I have to go there on a Tuesday night? Oh God,
I'll be there, mate.
Yeah, mate. 15 quid.
Mike's coming to a game.
Well,
I'm fine.
Don't start. Enough with Bruce without you starting.
It's my time to have a go back here. You're coming to a game. You'll get a nosebleed. We're going outside the M25. What happens when you leave the M25? No one's ever seen this before. This is a novelty. Send a paramedic with him just in case.
You can't get a paramedic. What are you talking about?
No. The Tories have a special number for it. It's that one from the IT crowd.
It's called private health. It's called private healthcare.
912, Alex. 912.
912 is. I'll see if this Crawley lad. We'll fill for 2 minutes to see if the Crawley lad is free. If not, we might do a special preview with him because I think he was worth the entrance fee alone.
Is that the AI guy?
Yeah.
We're not sure if he's an actual person or if he's just some computer.
He was the really sad one that was really upset.
Yeah.
Do you know what, Ben? I can recite that number. I can recite that number without any help. I'm going to cover it up. 0118999 881999 91197253, and that's my pin.
So I'll write that down.
Did someone?
Are we filling for this Crawley guy now, are we?
Let's see if he's coming on. I don't know if they're... Let's go to more Berlingo news because we got a few. Oh, hang on. I've got to scroll. Maybe not.
Shuffle your paper.
Yeah, hang on. Let's do that. Henry, this is going well, isn't it? Hang on.
Smoother than it used to be.
True.
Remember Santiago, I'm Ron Burgundy.
Remember when we did that first podcast in our bed, in our living room, and we had mics and everything, but it just recorded through the laptop instead. Okay, 2 seconds. The rest of them to make this more professional because Mike's face disappeared. These are some of the Charles Vernon Berlingo watches, may we say, even that you have seen throughout the entire time. I've lost them all. What's ever happened here? Oh yeah, here we go. Ollie Hodgson says he actually saw Vernon get it back into his car when he bit it into a Scotch egg. That is live news, as we say. Ben Bristow says his nan saw a Berlingo in the Beaches car park yesterday when going to Swales for her bacon. That is live news as we go. And that is all the Berlingo news we have for you at the moment. If you do see Lincolnshire's Robbie Keane, make sure you come back to us and let us know ASAP. That was smooth.
Followed the pod, didn't he, as well?
He did follow the pod, yes. We'll see if we can get an interview with him if we come in.
Everybody's moved around.
I don't know what that happens. There we go. I still go top left. I always go top left.
Trippy.
It's weird, isn't it? I don't know why. 10 people have left. He is not about. I haven't had a response.
The prospects the NFT from Crawley did it for them. They thought we're not going to see that.
No, we might ask him that. It will be an interesting one. Lincoln have signed a... Hang on, Tom. I'm not going to do it. Lincoln have signed a winger, which I assumed would have been the pre-mantle for him coming, which is probably why he was in Laceby. Getting... What do you get from Laceby? The Chinese is all right.
Getting us contract.
Getting us shape. If he did come genuinely, he'd make an improvement. It'd be an improvement on Kiernan and Light, wouldn't he?
Oh, 100%. It's not even a debate.
It's a different sort of player to Kiernan. But now he'd be a 100% an improvement. Also, apparently, Mark Cooper said in his interview at Yeovil yesterday that the deal to sign JMD on a permanent is nearly completely done. I suppose that kind of vindicates us when we claimed it wasn't done in the first instance, and I suspect we're bringing him back for 2 days just to prove that he wasn't actually sold in the first place.
Do you think it's done out of spite now? That's not what a B corporation does. You think of all that, that extra fuel to get from the southwest.
It's what a corporation who announces players on team sheets before they've signed them does, though, isn't it?
Yeah, we did spokes that, didn't we? I assume that was deliberate.
I don't think we wanted to give Swindon any kind of advantage. That lot of guys was laughing to myself.
Certainly weren't. They wanted to give us the exclusivity rights on it. Right, we're done, aren't we? Mike, pleasure. Yeah. See you at Crawley.
You will. See you there.
Sam, pleasure. Great to see you yesterday.
Yeah, see you. Yeah, good to see you yesterday. See you at Crawley as well.
And Henry, always nice to see you. Up the Chargers.
Up the Mariners.
Up the Mariners. See you later, guys. Bye-bye.
Open wide for some soccer!
And now the shipping forecast issued by the Met Office on behalf of the Maritime and Coast Guard Agency at 1130. Go! At 1130.
They've done it! They've done it! It's Maguire Crew! They've done it again, this team! What a magnificent piece of football! Really, really good goal! You can't let this one go down. Grimsby are heading back to the Football League.
Love it.